there. Brilliant pass out by Adam Keefe, and that looks like Mark Garside has put the puck into the net.
Mark, your early days as an ice hockey player and coming into Kirkcaldy Ice Rink, what do you remember about those days?
I just remember I kind of just grew up watching Five Flyers, and my mum and dad used to take me from sort of year zero, and I always wanted to play when I was a kid. So I do remember the very first time I went on the ice with sort of skates on and practicing and like doing the old not being able to move out there. But there was fond memories of playing hockey back then.
Fife have always had a really strong local element to their game and bringing the kids the whole way through. Was that something you thought about when you were obviously starting your first couple of years?
I mean, I just wanted to play hockey as much as I could. I actually played in Fife for 4 years when I was a kid, and we played in Edinburgh as well. Just because we're getting a bit more on the ice even more. But no, I just wanted to play as much as I could.
Coming through school, into secondary school, and you're starting to think you maybe have an opportunity to go and make a career of ice hockey, and you ended up signing for the Edinburgh Capitals and playing 4 years and 200 games for them.
Yeah, I mean, I came back from Canada. I went to high school over there and played 3 years of midget hockey. It ended up just with rules and things like that. I couldn't end up playing at a level I wanted to over there. So I came back and I sort of went into the Capitals SNL team for a few games, and then I just got the call. They were like, "Here, come play with us," type thing. And so from then on, that was me.
How was the accent going down in Canada at that time?
Yeah, I had to really tone down the Scottish lingo there, just to be understood. Slow it down and dial back a few words.
Doug Christensen was one of your coaches in Edinburgh, and then he made a move across the Irish Sea. You followed him. How did that move come about?
It came about, I remember speaking to Doug at the end of the season with Edinburgh, and he hadn't actually signed in Belfast. It was before I had gone to play for GB for the first time, and I told him, I didn't outright say I wanted to leave Edinburgh. I just said that I wanted to play for a team that competes to win, and he actually said to me, "I think I'll actually get you to sign." And he just left it at that, not telling me he was actually signing with Belfast. But so I come back from the GB trip, and he phoned me up, and he's telling me he's going to be the next coach of the Belfast Giants. I think he actually called me that morning and said, I'm going to Belfast this morning, I'm going to take the ferry, and I'll be driving through East Kilbride. And I was staying at my mum's at that time. And he's like, "Do you want to just jump in the car and jump on the ferry or whatever?" And that was it, we went away. Landed in Belfast that summer and stayed for 10 years now.
Your first line in Belfast Giants featured a certain Adam Keefe and Darrell Lloyd. How did you get slung together with those two?
I have no idea. No, I mean, those two came in. I remember we played a game in Cardiff that season, and Cardiff at the time played in a rink very small, the size of Manchester, so they had a lot of big guys and they were very physical. And I think the first year in Belfast, we kind of got, I wouldn't say bullied, but we just didn't have the physicality as some teams did. And so Doug went out and signed Darrell Lloyd and Adam Keefe. And those two, I remember going into Cardiff, were just so physical and just causing an absolute riot. And it was a complete change to what I'd used to be playing with, but it was also hilarious at the same time, And we actually, over the years we played together, we got a good bit of chemistry going where we were pretty effective doing that job. And it was great fun. It was great fun to be a part of that line.
3 championships, as in league championships, 2 Challenge Cup. Is there one that really sticks in your head?
I mean, obviously the big one is always the first one. I remember we had to play Sheffield, and it was we had them on a doubleheader weekend in March to win the league. If we won the game, we were winning the league. So we were so up for it. The bowl was full, and we absolutely dominated the game and won 5-1. I just remember the feeling at the end when the crowd was up for it, and they were all singing and banging the drum and clapping and stuff. And I just, you kind of feel that euphoria at the end, because the season was such a hard, long slog, and we did have points in that season where we were struggling for numbers. Guys got injured, and there's a couple of guys left, and it just kind of all that hard work, it paid off at the end, and it felt absolutely amazing. It was unbelievable to win on the ice in the Odyssey.
I want to take you back to the Paul 80 season.
Yeah.
That season, you know, the Giants dominated that league.
Yeah.
Won the league at a canter in February. That must have been a really special team to be a part of.
That too. I mean, we had such a good team, and you know, we talked about injuries there before. We didn't really have many of that season, and we had a few guys that were just on fire as well. I remember Jeff Suez, Kevin Surratt, Chris Higgins, Evan Chevery. We had so much talent in our lineup that year that it was, and nobody got injured. Everybody found good chemistry right away, and Paul 80, he just kind of let it flow, you know, and it wasn't like he was yelling and you know, showing emotions and stuff behind the bench. If something was wrong, he had a lot of patience just to kind of let the guys do their job on the ice, because he knew the quality we had in the team that year was so good.
You talk about injuries, you've had it for a few yourself.
Yeah,
glass shoulder.
Yeah.
Do you remember that first time that your shoulder popped out in that big fight that you had with David Ling?
That was the second time, actually.
Second time?
First time it was in playoffs against Coventry, and I turned one way and just had my arm kind of back here, and a guy hits me, or tries to hit me, misses, but catches my arm comes right out of my socket. The funny thing about that was I remember big Mike Hoffman, this guy, 6'5", obviously he's a tough guy, trying to pick me up the ice because my hand was sort of like stuck on my knee. So he thought I had a sore knee, so he put his hand underneath my arm. I was like, oh, that's my knee! But no, surgery right after that one, and the next season, that actually didn't affect me. I got the surgery and I felt great again. The next season, it was maybe 2 seasons later, I can't remember, we ended up getting in the fight with David Lang.
Not one of your brightest ideas?
No, not the best idea I've ever had, and I think it was just the way I kind of fell, and it just went and snapped right back and popped out the shoulder, and that was very sore, that one.
You're over 500 games now for the Belfast Giants.
Yeah.
Over 700 in the Elite League in all competitions. You're a veteran in this league now. As a 2-time rookie champion, did you think you'd get to that stage and play that amount of games?
I think, especially when you're young, you're kind of only focused on what's right immediately in front of you. But I think, looking back, I did think I wanted to play for a long time, you know. It's only now I've like really sort of finished doing the, you know, a degree and stuff as well. So it's, before I was always like, well, I've kind of just got to keep playing hockey. I love it anyway, so it was just like kept playing, and all of a sudden you're 30 years old. Played for the Giants for 10 years, you know.
You've known Adam Keith for 10 years, but Derek Walzer was the one who switched your position, obviously take it from centreman back to defence. What was the conversation?
The conversation was kind of funny. I think that season I'd kind of struggled to play a lot, and then I did get in the lineup leading up to Christmas, sort of November, December time, and then I got a concussion around Christmas time, couldn't play for a couple of weeks. So when I came back, you kind of had to work your way back into the lineup again. And we were in Cardiff in that small rink, and I think we had 5D that game. We had the guy injured, and then one other guy got injured, one guy got in a fight and kicked out, so we had 3, and well, I just remember Wally yelling down the bench at me, "Gary, come back here!" And I was like, "Me?" But that was it from there, and so I went out and I played sort of a period and a half that game, and after it, Wally was like, "We're going through a bit of a crisis here, so do you want to come back and play a D?" And I was like, "Sure, you just got to coach it into me, I guess." Like, and from then on, actually, it took to pretty much like a duck to water. Actually, I quite enjoy playing defence.
Mark, 10 years as a Giant, your testimonial season. I think from every Belfast Giants fan that's been here throughout that 10 years, and new guys that come along all the time. But just congratulations from all of us, and we wish you the best luck moving forward.
Thank you. It's been an absolute privilege.